Kim, what is our second main topic today?
All right, this comes from Owen White. Hey, John, big fan of the show. Wondered if you heard what Steven Yuen said on Invincible Season 2. He said that they haven't even began production on it. This is disappointing to me, as I expected the second season would come out this March or sometime this year. And Invincible was one of the surprise shows of 2021, to me, along with Arcane. Thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yeah, Invincible was truly, I mean, other than Arcane, which Arcane came out of nowhere, became my number one favorite animated show in the history of animation. I just can't believe how much I love Arcane. But before that, there was Invincible, another great little animated show that came out and really surprised us, because not only was it gory and brutal and violent, there was a great story underneath there, right? There was some really good mythology. I mean, basically it's a darker Superman and Superboy. So there's a lot of, not a lot of new ground covered there, but narratively, the way they approach it, there's almost Shakespearean in some ways with story of father and son and the things that get passed down. Anyway, loved it. Caught on really well, despite the fact that I found the animation style to be kind of cheap. But besides that, I was in love with this show. Ann and I watched it like all the way through, absolutely adored it. And it had great success. And so we started looking forward to it, because I think it came out in March of 2021. I think March or April, somewhere along there. So I have just been, with no reasoning behind it, kind of assuming and thinking that come March and April, we're going to be getting Invincible Season 2. Well, apparently not. The guy who does the voice of Invincible, Steven, said the following: "We haven't started on it yet. I know we're starting at some point soon. I've talked to Robert Kirkman. He's, of course, the guy who did Walking Dead, and he's kind of the runner of the show. I've talked to Robert here and there. He's super excited about it. He thinks Season 2 is going to be even better than Season 1, which I have no doubt about. If you go to his source material, Invincible is an incredible comic, and just thinking about how much story hasn't been told from that run, it's going to be bonkers. I'm really excited about it." That's all great. We haven't started on it yet. Like, what? So clearly we are not getting Invincible Season 2 anytime soon. Now, granted, this is the type of animation that you could probably do. Like, this isn't a Pixar film, right? This ain't a Pixar film. This is something you could probably get rolling fairly quickly, and you could probably get this out faster than a lot of other animated stuff. But still, the fact that they haven't started yet, Steven doesn't even know exactly when they're starting. I think there's a decent chance here we may not even get this until 2023. Granted, it's early. They could come out Q4, but it may not even come out to 2023. And I get it. We want to say, hey, man, take your time. This isn't about taking your time. I mean, come on, guys, let's get this going. But you know what? They probably didn't know this thing was going to be as successful as it was. But I'll tell you one thing, Rob, I will say this. I am nervous about where they might go with Season 2. Because Season 1 really takes place more Terra side. It takes more on Earth. It's a little bit more grounded. I mean, for these super beings and whatever. For those who don't know the comics, once you get a little further out, almost everything else happens intergalactically, right? And and then pretty soon you get, what's the lead singer of Queen's name again?
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, you get Freddie Mercury, who is, Invincible Dad's boss. As it turns out, Freddie Mercury shows up. It's not literally Freddie Mercury, but I swear to God, they modeled this character after Freddie Mercury. I can't remember the character's name, but he's the head of their world, right? Get into that, and then you get these intergalactic wars going on and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a little bit nervous about that, because part of the thing that I love about the story of this is that it takes place on Earth. He is trying to balance being who he is born to be and being a high school student, trying to manage this relationship that he has with this one girl, while also trying to navigate this other awkward relationship that he has with Adam Eve, and all this kind of stuff. And I like that, and kind of abandoning that, going to space. In the comics, it works. And it'll probably work in the show too, but I'm going to admit, I worry about it a little bit. Do you think they're going to follow pretty closely to the comics and go that route? Do you think they may change things up and keep it more terrestrial? What do you think they're going to do with that?
I think they'll follow the comics, because I really like that comic. I have the absolute editions of it. And they already have the story laid out. And I think they do a great job of that story. I think that story becomes really interesting. But like you said, I think the people that are fans of that show now don't know yet about this intergalactic
Yeah.
turn that the story takes. So if you're an Invincible fan, I think the audience will go with them. But hey, while you're waiting, you can always watch Dota Dragon's Blood Season 2, which drops on the 18th of January.
You know, I was watching credits on that, and a name I recognized came up on that. I think it was a Robert Meyer Burnett's name came up on that.
Maybe so, you know.
Something to watch in the meantime.
Hey, you know, if something to tide you over for the next season of Arcane or whatever you're waiting for.
Yeah, and who knows when Arcane's going to come. Anyway, Kim, I don't think I've ever talked to you about Invincible. Did you watch Invincible? And if so, what did you think about it?
I didn't finish it. I did start it. I loved the story. I get a little queasy with a lot of gore, so that's why I wasn't able to finish it. Just like I'm almost completely finished with The Boys, but not without
Oh, I love The Boys.
not without passing out a few times. So it just takes a lot for me to come to. So that's why I haven't finished it. But for what I saw, I really liked the father-son relationship and story. And I felt like a lot of people, not just fathers and sons, but like fathers and daughters could really relate to that discovery and power struggle and really getting
Fight
to know
to the death.
who you are, but then really getting to know who your parents are. You know, I thought that was interesting. I thought it was a good show. I didn't mind the animation.
I don't mind it either. I just say it's not exactly high budget,
No, it's not
super
like
big
Arcane.
production
Yeah.
value. Yeah, it's not Arcane
yeah,
or anything
yeah,
like
which
that.
Arcane, I just visually, I'm just like, it's just candy. I'm just like, ah.
I got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Does animated violence bother you as much as more live action violence?
They're the same for me. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
Don't ask me why.
So
I
when
don't
you're
know
watching
why.
the first episode of The Boys, an A train runs right through the girlfriend. Yeah, that was that's pretty. Or the
Yeah.
stuff. I still think like there's been a lot of shows like this because we referenced The Boy, but like, man, I know I keep coming back to it. That airplane scene in
God.
season 1 with
That broke my
Maeve,
heart.
and they're on the plane. They're like, we gotta leave these people. Gotta leave them.
Broke my heart.
I mean, oh my! I'm watching this. Like, this isn't just an awesome television show. This is a freaking heavy television show.
Yeah.
And I just love that about it. And that's exactly some of the same feelings I got watching Invincible. So hopefully they get on that horse here pretty soon. Anyway, guys, what do you think about that? Are you looking forward to Invincible season 2? Are you disappointed we're not going to get it sooner than we are? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.